Woo! Welcome back, traders! We're going to be getting into GME AMC, and then maybe we'll do one more. But what matters, guys, is that you guys stay the length of the video, the full length, to get all the juicy tidbits and knowledge drops that I am giving you guys for free. Let's jump into GameStop first. And GameStop closed red on the day, down 22 cents or almost 1%, right? GameStop is in a very, 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 very interesting spot in its chart history. And I say that because you are above the 200-day EMA. You are above the 50-day EMA. This is something that I preach every single time I talk about AMC, is that this is what I want to see AMC do. This is what I speak so passionately about, that once you are above these two indicators, that you get a daily golden cross, one of the most bullish crosses in the entire stock market. And you are looking to get something very, very, very similar, hopefully soon, right? We saw the cross of the 9-day EMA of both the 50 and the 200. And GameStop printing a daily inside bar showing that further consolidation is needed before you see this move upwards or downwards, right? I may be a little bit biased, and I'll tell you why. I think it is going to go upwards and fill the entire gap at 28.41 and then potentially go for the further at 29.70 before finding its support and its new trading range. GameStop, absolutely set for something disgusting here, looking for a daily cross for the first time since back here, right? Your first daily cross since this monstrous move. You came back down, you retested it to the cent, right? You can see that green wick off of the 50-day EMA, and then you went up 170%, up to $46. Something very, very similar is brewing on GameStop right now, and I could not be more excited to see you guys win. That's what it boils down to. I'm here for you guys, and I'm covering it every step of the way. I think you're going to get this golden cross, and you might get a perfect retest going into it, right? With this inside bar, maybe you see some kind of flag pattern here. And maybe you give the 50 enough time to curl above and get in, and then you go. Very possible, right? Very, very, very possible. Now, whether or not GameStop lags this long, who knows, right? I don't think it will, but it's the bullish outcome of these things crossing. Eventually it's going to tap. And when it does tap, you're going to absolutely full send. However, going into trading view, it's a little bit more clear. And I wanted to pull up the weekly time frame because the weekly time frame gives a great picture for you guys, for all y'all, right? Gives a great picture of what we had been preaching on the trading view chart for some time. You can see you've been within this bull flag or this bull pennant, and you've recently broken out after a month and a half of consolidation. Since the breakout, you've had a 10% and a 4% candle. Very, very bullish. You've crossed above the weekly RSI band, and you've crossed above the weekly MACD. Now, what's going to matter here is the zero line. That is where my cursor is right now. When you see this blue band cross through the zero line, that's when things are gonna get crazy. Because the last time, truthfully, that you had from beneath a cross and then a cross above was back here, guys. Was back here. That was the last time you had a cross from beneath and then a cross above the zero line. If you see something similar, guys, it would not be impossible, and it would be enough juice if you saw volume to back that move to not only get above $30, to not only create another higher high here, like you've done 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 times, but to also take a bigger zoom out and to absolutely wreck whoever is short on this stock. It is possible. And not only is it possible, if you get this continuation and you can see how sharp this thing is curling, I would think that you getting the weekly RSI cross, the MACD cross, and above the zero line, the golden cross, a breakout of every single technical formation, and a fifth and final accomplishment of all these technical indicators screaming, literally yelling at you guys to buy this thing, would send this thing to absolute Pluto. You can see above the $73, above this gap fill here, this is one of the highest technical landmarks on GameStop. It is a gap fill at 73.72. That is your Pluto range. That is where things get really, really silly, right? But you can see here, if I go to the monthly, there's 2 more things that could happen here on GameStop that could actually send this thing like crazy. One of them being a monthly cross above this RSI band. That is going to send this thing to absolute Pluto, because every single time you've gotten the weekly cross, you've gone 70% to the upside. But the last time you've truthfully had a test after coming beneath, very similar here, right? You tested it, rejected, came above. You had an 106% candle that left an even bigger wick, right? We all know this thing went to $66 and $80 in after hours. It is very possible. I don't know what it is fundamentally. Roaring Kitty comes back, right? GameStop announces an acquisition, further invests in Bitcoin, uses their $10 billion in cash and assets to do something special and to revitalize this company. It is my belief that between all of these technical indicators crossing to the upside, and it's not even the craziest part, the quarterly chart curling up. Yes, the quarterly MACD curling up for the first time since back here, and potentially crossing for the first time since back in 2020, guys. This is special. These kinds of setups are special. And I'm going to be here every single step of the way covering this so that you guys can learn how to identify these, and so that you guys can begin to develop your own skill sets and begin to gain the knowledge of how to trade and how to identify these things as they're happening on the charts. That's the most important thing. That's why I'm here. It's why I have this mission, because I came into the market back up here, right? And I held all the way through, sold, and then now we are a little bit more calm, cool, and collected. Yeah, it's special. So let's get into AMC. I think AMC is going to see a sympathy move and a sympathy play from GameStop's astronomically insane move. On the quarterly chart, AMC, nothing has changed. You are beginning and continuing to curl up for the first time since 2020. Very, very similar, or 2021, right? GameStop saw the run first. AMC then surpassed it in a percentage gain. Insane stuff. Let's go into the monthly time frame. The monthly time frame, you are printing a monthly hammer candle that is green. Very, very bullish reversal sign for AMC. You go into the weekly time frame. You are literally fighting off a weekly MACD cross to the downside, which every single time has happened. You have capitulated, right? Cross down, capitulation. Cross down, capitulation. And so you are fighting this off, crossing green, and there's some really good technical indicators showing that this cross green is going to hold its momentum and prevent the cross to the downside, that you had a bear trap here and you could potentially squeeze out of this wedge into $4. Let's cover why, right? You go to the 4-hour chart and you are beginning to curl up. At least you were, right? When I was starting to do this video, you were curling up. And there's still a strong potential that you invalidate overnight trading, because overnight trading is trading on like, I don't know, a couple 100,000 shares. Like the volume is 1,511 shares, guys. I think that'll be invalidated, and I think that'll be eaten up like that. Yeah, it's nothing. I do believe you're going to get this MACD cross on the 4-hour, and you go to the daily. You've seen this MACD cross on the daily begin to play out. You're above the 9-day EMA. And so now you're really pinched between the 50 and the 9-day. If you see this 9-day begin to curl up and price begin to curl up, it is only a matter of time before you do something like, let's see a good example, something like this, right? Where you were pinched here, and you continued the momentum up. You gapped above the 50, right? You didn't even just climb above it. You gapped above it, retested it, and then you sprung into that 360 heavy resistance on AMC. And funny enough, your 200-day EMA is now at 354, guys. I could not be more bullish on AMC at these levels, because it is only going to be a sneeze. It is going to be a quick, sudden movement, and you will be above the 50, above the 200, just like you are on GameStop. And that's why I speak with such conviction on GME and eventually on AMC, because these things move in tandem. They run in baskets. It's only a matter of time, guys. The best is yet to come. There's going to be some kind of retail revolution, in my opinion, where mass retail FOMOs in at the tops here over by the gap fills at 13, 19, and 43. There's no telling, right, out of this double bottom formation, very similar to this back in 2020 or 2019, of this accumulation pattern into a squeeze, into a gamma squeeze. Accumulation pattern into a squeeze, potentially into a gamma squeeze, right? Anything is possible as soon as you're above the 50-day EMA, literally. And when you test the 200, I don't expect to cross in the first go. You've been absolutely bullied by it here and here and here and here and here and here, and bullied and bullied and bullied. The last time you had a daily golden cross, guys, was back in February 1st of 2021. And since that golden cross, you tested it, and then the rest was history, right? You made, let's just give you an accurate golden cross retest price target, 1,232%. So even if you are so skeptical as to wait for the golden cross, the setup's still there. So why wouldn't you take that trade, right? And we're going to be covering this every step of the way. So make sure to slap the subscribe button. I appreciate each and every single one of you guys. We're almost at 500 subscribers. Make that sink in. It's not sinking in for me. So please make that sink in. We're at almost 500 subscribers. Let's get it over the hump tonight, guys. I would appreciate it. God bless to each and every single one of your families. Thank you guys for tuning in. Again, make sure to watch any of the videos you missed in the prior history, because there's always something layered in there with juicy DD and juicy technical analysis tidbits for you guys to learn and become better traders. So once again, this is not financial advice. I love every single one of you guys, and peace.